Ready when you are, CB. Do I start in Canada or Mexico?
We didn't do Animal Kingdom.
You really hate us?
Hello, Frank and Jen at Dillos Diz. Dillos Diz. Hi! It's Deedee Magno Hall here.
Roll call.
Jen.
Frank. And we're Dillos Diz.
Both loved it for different. It somehow grabbed us both. It somehow pulled us both in, and a lot of that it has to just do with the casting of so many likable, like you said, the person next door, but the likability on almost the entire cast practically just jumping out of the screen and pulling you in. It really, the casting is one of the, I feel like, a great story within this program.
Absolutely. And I'm sure, I mean, I hope someone interviews Matt Casella at some point. I know he's probably like really under the radar. So I haven't personally spoken to him for many years. But it just seems like when anybody speaks about him, any of us talk about him, like if I didn't already have allergies, I'd be tearing up anyway, because it was the casting, it was the chemistry that made that happen. Side note, if you have a teacher friend, public school, and they say there's just this one class, like it's the combination. It's not that they're all bad, but there's just the two talkers, and then it's the end of the day, and there's the one that always like shows up late, and then there's the one rebel, right? And then the whole group gets in trouble. And she's like, I don't understand how this combination has come to be, but it is just the perfect storm, right? It's the opposite with the House Club. We, like, if you had put just half of us together, it wouldn't have had the same like atomic reaction. And you've got some of us that just bounce off each other. And even though I like to say that really at heart I'm kind of a still waters type of lady. Like I really am introverted, and I have long, deep, quiet thoughts a lot. I do. I'm not hilarious most of the time. Very chill. But like on that show, I was like I really did just sort of ham up a bunch of stuff, and I would react off of someone else, and then other people maybe were quiet off camera, and then they explode on camera. And I've just kind of saturated some recent days with some home videos and kind of watching us all together. And when people didn't think anyone was looking, they would just give each other this hug, or Tiffany's looking out for Lindsay when she kind of like fell face down on the ground during this, like, it's hard to explain, like a hayride or something. And people were throwing hay, and she kind of just gave this look that maybe not everyone would know what it meant, but I caught it on the video, and I was like, she's like, give her a break, man. Like, that's kind of what she looked like. And we just, we were trained to be a family in the beginning. Over the years, it did become more professional with different boundaries, and just a lot more professional growth and polish and sheen. But in the beginning, I think that's what I had to find for myself was, what is it for me being on the inside that makes me just so like a very unique personality of Die Hard, a very unique formula for that show, because I was a Mouseketeer. Like, why am I such a fan as well in the way that I am of everyone on the one side of the screen as well as everyone on the other side of the screen? And it's because at 10 years old, I was taught that was part of my family. I was taught to be a sister. And we did everything together. We did all the holidays. We had Thanksgiving picnic, and we celebrated everybody's birthdays, and hung out at the apartments together. And the brothers and sisters were in school with us, and the parents were on the sound stage with us. Can you imagine like 8 momagers on a sound stage being quiet? Everyone has their camcorders out. Like it was very intertwined. And I think that's part of what made us on screen work in the beginning, was because we really just didn't have this careful pretense or this like boundary with each other. We really were all just like, we're all together. Yeah. We're just all together all the time. that showed, you know, there was such a comfort level there.
Yeah.
Especially for some of us who maybe were like more compartmentalized and like could be introverted at times. We felt permission to like, yeah, go big, go goofy. It's great. You know, especially me who didn't have anything else to compare it to. Like Brandy had been on Broadway. Braden had been on Broadway. Albert was this accomplished ballet dancer and had done a lot of work. Like everybody had, most of them I felt had more experience than I did. And looking up to them and feeling like I was a part of the family was, you know, I didn't know how important that was at the time, you know. So that's what I saw. And I think that was the point. Matt wanted it that way.
Yeah.
Matt wanted us to be all different, but come together like we did. And he wanted you to see that.
Yeah.
He wanted you, and that's exactly what happened, which is why I'm saying, like, it's like your brothers and your sisters and the neighbors and the people that you should be hanging out with are on the screen.
Yeah, and I think everyone watching felt represented in one way or another, and whatever part of the country you were from, whatever background you were from, you connected with someone on the screen, if not everyone, for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was something for everybody. You know, I think that was a big goal.
First came in, we were in like RV trailers, like fancy RV trailers. There was two Musketeers to a trailer, and I think it was during the pilot, and they were all, their back ends were backed up against Great Movie Ride, but it was they were lined up what is now Pixar Street. So we basically, our camp was like Pixar Street. Our wardrobe department was there. We had a school close by in there. We had a rehearsal studio close by in there. All different kind of portable buildings that were set up on that street. That was all off limits. And even when the park opened, that was still off limits. That Pixar Street opened up later, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was actually a cast member at the studios as in character entertainment from 95 to 99-ish, somewhere in there. So, you know, even just walking back there, knowing you guys have been back there, I was like, this is like the greatest thing ever.
I mean, we were there when even all the big around the lake, and before there was water in the lake. I mean, there was I remember Jennifer McGill's mom taking her station wagon, you know, the kind where you could like sit in the back, the kind, you know, where there's like a random kid in the back. And we took it, and she's like, I'm going this way, I don't care, you know what I mean? And they literally weren't doing construction at that time. They all went home or something. It was later in the day. But she took it literally around the lake, like around in front of Great Movie Ride. It was all dirt. It was just all dirt, and, you know, just kind of checking out all the amazing stuff that was going on. So yeah, it was, not only was it fun to grow up in that park, but to watch it kind of grow. I mean, I remember sitting in school. I have this random memory sitting in school watching them with the crane put the swan on the Swan and Dolphin, you know, because we could see it from our window out of our school, you know, and you're just like, whoa, this is crazy. You know? And they'd use us as guinea pigs to ride the rides. They'd be like, okay, we need you to ride Star Tours now. We got, you know, Tower of Terror is open, so who's gonna come? You know.
Yeah. Did you realize then, like, how cool that was? I mean, were you able to put it into perspective at that point of like, this is kind of amazing?
Yeah, I mean, the hardest part was just not to kind of get in trouble, you know what I mean? Because it was we're still kids, so
yeah,
you know, it's real easy to like. We'd be in school, and I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna go get an English muffin at craft services, which is like this little small walk across the bridge.
Yeah.
So you're already thinking they're gonna think I'm gonna be gone maybe 10, 15 minutes. And but I'll come back and tell them I went to the restroom too, or whatever. But you know, immediately we'll meet somebody else, and all of a sudden we're running through the gate, and we're riding the Great Movie Ride and riding back, coming back. Yeah. Or you know, we see a girl and we're trying to like, hey, let's get her phone number. We got to get her phone number. You know. Yeah. All things that we should have never have been doing, but looking back, you know, pretty innocent.
Yeah.
We did run into the back because, like I said, our trailers were against that wall.
Yeah.
That is the side of the Man's Chinese Theater.
Right.
So there's doors there.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, we're like, all right, and we'd sneak in, and we're like, oh, someone's coming.
Yeah.
You know, and we'd go through, and we found our way into the gangster scene. So you know, when the tourists come by, we like pose.
Yeah.
and then we'd run out of there and laugh. And I always joked that, like, thank God we didn't find our way into the Western scene with all the fire or something.
Yeah, right.
But I'm sure we would have gotten in real big trouble because they're, they don't play around with safety. If you were a cast member,
Yeah.
they don't joke around with safety or going indoors you're not supposed to go in.
Right. Yeah.
But we were kids, so
Yeah.
I'm sure we had a little bit of a license.
Yeah. That's true. So when you all were brought together, I mean, did you all just hit it off right away, or did they kind of do some, I don't even know, like some role-playing games, team building, yeah, like to make the connections?
We weren't all brought in at the same time.
Okay.
Most of us were. We kind of started with a rehearsal. We kind of jumped us right into some rehearsals, and so some of us had met, and then later on in that week, they did a huge picnic, and it was at Fort Wilderness actually. Okay. And we did this huge barbecue and met everybody, met the parents, met the cast, and yeah, it was wild. I mean, most of us hit it off pretty quickly. And like I said, I was used to that kind of community from Oklahoma, so I could recognize we all had common ground. This was going to be real fun. Yeah. And I already knew Jen and I already knew Tiffany. But there is a funny story where me and Damon, like when me and Damon first saw each other, I was like, who is this jackass? Like, because he came in firing like on all cylinders. He's like, hey buddy, how are you? I love you, brother. And that's totally him. That's his dad is like that. And he's literally like a little Phil. He's like his dad. And, but to me, I was like, what is going on right now? This guy's like came in like a tornado. He came in like he owned the place and he's never met any of us. Right. Yeah. And I was coming from Oklahoma, and I remember that was when I had like friendship bracelets all of my arm and like weird rings that I had made with safety pins. And like, I think I had snakeskin boots on with like ripped jeans. I was looking very rock and roll Oklahoma. Like just, I don't know what I was like. So I remember him like looking at me like going, who is this idiot with the snakeskin boots? Right? And of course, within the day, we had our arms around each other and loving each other. And it's like, Damon has that as a talent. That Damon's talent is one of the best talents ever. And he can literally walk in a room and he can make people who want to hate him love him. It's the most amazing talent. But at that party, interestingly enough, and this hasn't really ever been talked about, but at that party, breaking news. Yeah. At that party, back then they used to take you on a tram from the front of Fort Wilderness into the back, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Now you get on a bus, I think. But back then you get on trams. So we were, or maybe because it was private to us, we had trams. They put us on a tram and trammed us over there to the area. But when I left Oklahoma, knowing all these random different people, some of those guys were rappers, a group of rappers, these three guys, and they at my going away party, they rapped me this Mickey Mouse Club rap, I can't even remember it, but but it was like, the Mickey Mouse wishing you good luck. It was just, it was kind of cheesy, but it was what people were doing. It was very Run DMC. Yeah. And so we were screwing around on that tram while we were riding, and me and Damon were beatboxing back and forth, and we started rapping the rap for the Mickey Mouse Club thing.
Oh my goodness.
Who's the leader of the club? And we were doing that while the other one was beatboxing, and we kept doing that. And Albert wasn't there yet. We met Albert later on. He came into the apartment complex because we said another guy's coming, and we were like, oh my god. And then Albert came in, and of course he fit right in like a glove with Damon and I. We couldn't really separate us. But yeah, that's kind of how that rap started. And some of the producers were listening to us, and they reminded us. They were like, you guys should do that after the song. And we were like, okay, yeah, sure. Of course.
All right, I'm going to hit the end broadcast so we know.
Oh, we're not going to sing now. It's time to say goodbye to all our company. MIC Frank.
See you real soon.
KEY Jen.
Why? Because we like you.
Oh, MOUSE.
Yes, dance break.
Oh, yes. Through the years, we'll all be friends wherever. Oh, is it?
Yes.
All right, that's the way we're going to end this. All right.